G'day folks, in this video I'll show you how you can solve this maple leaf skewb. Well, this is a relatively straightforward puzzle to do once you realise how you can get the petals in. I will admit though, initially I picked this up after scrambling it and putting it aside. I picked it up a few weeks later and looked at it and went, what on earth? How are you supposed to, it did cause a little bit of trouble, but the method that I'm going to show you, I'm sure you'll agree, it's an incredibly simple method. What we're really doing here is trying to reduce the centers first, so make that center all red. And then once all the centers are reduced, we just solve it as a normal skewb, which is very, very quick. So you'll notice that each center actually has a little center part. So this is the blue center. So I wouldn't want to reduce, say, the orange centers on there. So let's start. I'm going to find my white center first. It's here. And what I want to do with any color, and I'm going to do one color at a time, is go ahead and place the edges into that center. So this is an edge, if you like. And there's another two edges, and that one there is a petal. So I want to put all the edges in first. And initially, I'm just sort of seeing if they line up on the right sort of orbit. And that one does, although I just need to put it across to here first. And then I can go ahead and place it where I want it. What about the other two? Yes, this one's good. Now this one here, oh, that also happens to be good as well. If it's not, you can go ahead and just start doing simple turns, which I'll show later on, just like this normal skewb turns. Something like this, again, I just want to move it across to that position first and then place it. So all edges in. Now for the petals. This is the part that's actually much easier than I thought. And it is an algorithm, I guess, but I'm not going to show it as an algorithm. I'm just going to say, here's what you do, because it's much easier than trying to learn strange letters and pluses and minuses and stuff, which you just don't need to do. So I'm going to get a petal that if I turn it to match, it will go to the opposite position, and that belongs there. In other words, it's not going to push out a white that's already there. Now, I'm going to turn that petal onto here. And you'll notice as I do that, it's knocked out that edge. So in order to get that edge back, I now want to store this petal and the other edge somewhere down here. So that's safely stored there. Now I can go ahead, replace the edge. And when I bring back this one, you'll notice that it puts the new petal back, but it does not displace the edge that I just replaced. So if you think about that move, it's 12 moves and it's 6 moves times by 2. And that's all we do really right until the last couple. And even with the last couple, that is exactly all we do. And I'll just show you how to set up for that so that you don't disrupt what you've done. Now here's one. I can turn that one down and it is going to go into the correct position. So I say good. I'll turn that. Now I've got a store. Now put the edge back. And now put the petal back. You can see this is really super, super simple. Okay, here's another one here. I can turn that down. That is going to go into the correct position. So this time it's going to go to that position. And so I'm going to want to store this one from over here. That's the piece that I want to check I can use. Done. And one to go. Now this one's probably not on the correct line, so we'll try and get it there first. Now we're good. Now this one here is on the right line, but you'll notice that it's going to displace the wrong one. I want it to displace this one. And so I've found that if that happens, I just want to hold it above here, I want to give it one turn down to the back and then rotate this corner so that the white piece comes back to here. Now, what we find is when I then flip that around and bring it back, you'll notice it's now going to replace the correct piece. So that's I suppose the trick there. It's going to replace this piece. That's what I want to store. And you'll see the white centers are now done. Now from here, you just move on to the next color, and honestly, they're all as easy as that. So I'm just going to keep working through and cut back in when I'm down to the last couple of colors. All right, here I am down to the last couple of centers, and I'll just bring them a little bit closer together. You'll see that I've got the yellow center there, the blue center there, and again, I first need to go and get the edges around those centers. So that yellow center has no yellow edges. So first thing, just as normal, place what I can. Let's see if we can move another one around. There's another one. And here's the last one. So it's normally pretty straightforward like that. And it'll also normally leave you with a couple to do, a couple of petals, but it doesn't matter if it's 4 petals because the process is going to be the same. Now, I've said that we're going to use exactly the same routine as we've been using, but I want to explain it a little bit more by doing that routine on 3 solved faces so you can see exactly what's happening. So I'll use the white, the red, and the orange here. So what did I do? I turned this down. Let's say that I'm replacing this piece into there. So just imagine that's what I'm doing. I turn that down, rotate, return. Turn this one across, rotate, return. Now repeat. Down, rotate, return, across, rotate, return. Really helpful to look at that and see that in actual fact, all that we're doing is a 3 cycle. So that white piece has moved to here, that red piece has moved to here, the orange piece has moved to there. Now, the reason that's helpful to know is because once I have my piece set up over here to replace into that position, I know the only other piece that matters is this piece over here. Whatever this is irrelevant. It's just that little piece there that needs to be a color that I want. And of course, if I was doing this from the right hand side, it would just be that sort of mirror image. So let me just reset this back up and let's go and have a look and see how we can apply that over here. All right, well, firstly, if I consider putting a blue petal into the blue center, I can see that it's going to be that blue petal when I turn it is going to go to there. Okay, so you remember that that went across to here. The third piece was the one that was in that position there. So let's think what I want to happen. I want the blue to go to there. That yellow is going to go over to here. And what I really want is another, I don't want a red because that's just going to disrupt things. I really want another yellow in that position. Because if that happens, if I was to put one of these petals over here, this yellow would correctly go and place it, and then that yellow petal would come back to here. So this is why it seems like we're doing a swap, but we are actually doing a 3 cycle. So because this is the line that I'm using here, when I turn it on this direction, I'm going to grab this part here, take it out, and put it over into that position. And realistically, it doesn't matter if it's here or here, as long as that piece is yellow. So I just temporarily remove it with some other piece and bring it over to here. And let's have a look. That's absolutely perfect. So you can see now the blue is going to go to there, the yellow is going to go where it should, and this yellow is going to come back to here. So once I've got that set up, let's carry it out. Now that's all done. Let's return everything to where it was. And I think I did that. And that there. And you can see now we've only got one more to do. So let's have a look and see if we can get this happening. Not quite. So I first want to do, well, what's a sensible thing to do? It's not going to matter. I'm going to have to change this around. And the only tricky thing here is because I can happily move it around, but I'm going to have to use one of these solved bits just to temporarily get it out. So what did we do before? We said turn it down like that and then rotate. So it's now in sort of the correct position, but I'm going to have to use this white just to pull it out. So you'll notice now that when I move that, the blue is going to correctly go here. Now, in the same way, if I think about this time it's coming down to the bottom and my replacement piece is over here. And the piece that I want to be yellow is that one there. So I now need to basically go and grab either of these and just put them in that position, however it works. So this is slightly trickier just because the setups, like it's not immediately obvious. Is that going to work? No, not quite. So what would we do then? Perhaps turn like that. That's better. So in terms of thinking, do I need to remember these setups? No, you don't, because once we've done, we're going to have all pieces are going to be halves, if that makes sense. So that's why I would just say, hey, get it onto the correct line. That now is a yellow, which is what I want. That's the correct blue, which is going to go here. Replace with the yellow, carry out the move. Now, having done that, hopefully you'll see what I mean now is I've actually only got halves that are left. And in fact, those halves just go and replace perfectly. And all of the centers are done. So I hope that makes sense. That's the one slightly more thought required process, but it is exactly the same routine. And now you're just solving a skewb. So let's quickly solve the skewb. Pick any corner, yellow, green, red, and match up the three corners around it. So I'll see if there's a green, red. There is a green, red there, but it needs to be twisted anti-clockwise. So I'll sort of bring it back there, twist it anti-clockwise, and return it, and that's now correct. Let's move on. This is the green, yellow. This needs to go clockwise, so I can bring it down, twist, and up. And this one, yellow, red, needs to be twisted anti-clockwise, so bring it down, twist it, put it up. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's half the corners done. And now the top will just need to be turned at most one turn so that you have matching corners. In this case, all of the corners are miraculously solved. I will admit, while solving this puzzle a number of times, that has never happened. So just let me set up to a more normal scenario. Well, this is definitely more like what you would see, which would be all corners solved except for perhaps two of them. And you can see as you look around, that's all done. That's the blue face. And don't worry about the fact that that's a white center, because the entire center is going to move. This is supposed to be blue, so that's got to be twisted clockwise. And then this is needing to be twisted anti-clockwise. So the routine to twist two corners, the one that is twisting clockwise at the front, the anti-clockwise one at the back. Here we go, corner pointing towards you. It's just a left, right type thing. And then twist that back corner clockwise and now undo. And then undo the back twist. And that has solved and twisted those corners. Nothing more to it than that. And then you've just got centers, and you might have 6 centers that need to be placed, or 4 if there's 2 swaps, 3 in a row, maybe 3 like this. I'll pretend that, no, I probably won't. I'll probably just show you exactly what to do with these last 3. You want them in a row, And so I want yellow going to orange, or sorry, yellow going to the yellow face. The orange needs to go to the orange face, which means I just want to set that up there. And that green is going to come back to here. Okay, so once the order is like that, front to back, I want to hold it like this, not with a corner, but with an edge facing towards me. And I do the exact same sort of start move. A left, right, left, right. And then instead of doing some turn, what I actually do is turn the entire thing around 180 degrees and repeat. Left, right, left, right. Now, if I turn it back like that, you remember that I did have a setup to get that center back there. So undo that setup, and you can see that everything is solved. So reduce the centers, solve the skewb. That's the Maple Leaves Skewb. As always, thanks for watching.